Greetings, YouTube. On Monday, October 5th, my sister gave birth to an 8-pound, 1-ounce baby boy. His name is Calvin. Calvin is the first biological grandchild in my family. He's probably going to be the last. My mother briefly had some step-grandchildren during one of her marriages. My father now has not only step-grandchildren, he even has step-great-grandchildren. And the number of step-grandchildren he has is inordinately large, something like 12 or 14. It's a very big family and they're very fertile. In fact, he's been married to his second wife longer than he was married to my mother now, which always seems a little strange to me. And this is the first time I have become a biological uncle. I've been an uncle in the past. During my first marriage, I was a uncle by marriage, and I had a number of nieces and nephews, none of which I remember what their names are. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, is married, and he has 2 stepchildren, so technically those 2 boys are my nephews. Though they live in Sweden, I've never met them, and very likely I never will. But technically, they are my nephews. So Calvin is my first genuine nephew. He lives in San Diego. I live in New Hampshire. My sister will come out and see us occasionally, I'm sure, but other than that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with Calvin. Of course, due to the wonders of YouTube, he can see me anytime he chooses. But because of the TSA, I don't fly. So I won't be going out to California anytime soon, because I really don't feel like taking 3 or 4 days to drive there. Especially at the moment, as Calvin's sole occupation is going to be eating, sleeping, and pooping. But I'm sure that my mother will very shortly be moving to San Diego because this is her only grandchild, and she's wanted a grandchild since I turned 18. I'm 45. She's been a little anxious for a grandchild. Interestingly, I only ever had a single biological uncle. That was my Uncle George, and George was my mother's younger brother. He was 10 years younger than my mother and 10 years older than me. And he was named after his father, who was also George. So he was George Jr. And George Jr. was quite possibly the greatest uncle that's ever walked the earth. He set a metric that I could never conceivably meet no matter how hard I tried. But I will still do my best to be the best uncle I can for Calvin. Sadly, George, who I love dearly and I hold in my heart every single day, died when he was 29 years old from cancer. I've outlived George, so at least Calvin's got that going for him. I miss George. I have his picture, I pray for him every day, I think about him frequently. He really was a wonderful human being and a great uncle. I would like, perchance, for Calvin someday to think fondly of me after I'm gone and say, yeah, he was a good uncle. That would be nice. It would be good to be remembered by someone, because again, I have no children of my own. I only have one word of advice for my sister, and it's the same advice I give to every single new parent I've ever known. Be the parent you always wished you had. Now, in parting, I would like to say, happy birthday, Calvin. Welcome to the human race. We're an odd lot, but rarely are we dull.